sorry if my voice is a little off. I think I'm fighting a little bit of a cold. Not even my throat, but just my nose. It's like weirdly stuffy. But yeah, I changed the name of my channel. Not that anyone watches. To be Torn Veil, meaning a lot of things, and especially okay, regardless of any spirituality or practicality of that moment in history or mythology or like however you want to look at it, more so what it literally means, the veil separating the holy place from the most holy place, the most vulnerable, the most intimate, the most true, the most, like the innermost part of who I am and curious about, and am trying to develop the want and ability to articulate is, like, I don't want a barrier between that. And that's what this is trying to be. So, that's just a little explanation of why that's the case now. And also, I mean, yeah, all of that, but it's just, like, I'm tired of just letting things go by. There is so much pure evil in the world today, and people are afraid to talk about it, and people are ignorant to talk about it. People are distracted, I think, is probably the best way to say it. And by people, I'm talking about my own experiences of just being, like, worrying about other stuff, just being taken away, just like relapsing on Instagram reels and just looking at stuff that I don't, like, if I'm honest with myself, I don't want to be seeing. Like, it's either complete and utter nonsense or it's not, but it's way too much that I could ever think through and process. And it's just, it's hopeless if you just get into those cycles and addictions. And one thing that bothers me that doesn't seem to bother anyone else is being capable of articulating what you actually think. I mean, I still struggle with filler words a little bit. I'll say like and from time to time. And I'm not necessarily talking about that. But segueing into what I am gonna, probably not a super long conversation because it's super quick, but am gonna talk about people that speak the Lord's name in vain. First, I'll address people that are believers. It's like, why do we pretend that's not serious? And even beyond that, for like how I really consider it for myself, how are you capable, or how are you incapable of being cognizant over your own tongue? And I mean that too with speaking just utter vanity. People that are cursing all the time. And I'm not saying it's not hard to stop. And I'm not even saying that you should. But people that speak and it's every other word, and you're just, like, it's just gratuitous. Like, you're talking about something sweet and innocent, and there's 5 F words in there. It's like, what does that have to do with anything? The words you're saying don't mean anything. And I don't know, for me, I don't have enough time left in my life to waste half of what I'm saying on nothing. Especially when it comes to neuroplasticity and the way that our body adapts to what you repeat. And I don't want my own thoughts to be that meaningless or negative, and just saying, like, things that are absolutely nothing. Like, half the conversations with people my own age, like even some of my closest friends I hang out with, are just referencing trends. Like, they have none of their own thoughts. Nothing is actively listened to or expanded upon. Like, I'll ask a question and people just freeze. And they're like annoyed that I'm curious about the thing that they just said. It's like, why was it even worth saying if there's not more? And like, there is more. I just asked something. I'm trying to pull it out of you. But again, that's a topic I'll spend a lot of time on. Just words not meaning anything anymore. But specifically, today, I'm going to yap about how that's the case, and especially the cause behind it. But well, yeah, I'll just say it as clearly as possible. Christian religious holidays are utterly mocked and disguised and like misrepresented, and everyone, including most, again, like, I'm gonna even get to this one. I was trying to think of a way to encapsulate everything I'm about to say, but I'm just putting it simply first, because not every, like, anyone that listens to this hasn't been thinking the thoughts I have for quite a while. But even just the word Christian itself is exactly what I'm talking about. And I will never actually, not that I really claim to be one and have before, because of what people insinuate the entirety of what that could possibly mean. It's like, oh, here's the most complicated thing to ever exist. Our relationship between that and the other most complicated thing we could even imagine to exist. And beyond that, it's like, even just your brain, like, if you remove spirituality, you take your brain, which the possible combinations of brain states at each synapse is a greater number than the elementary particles of the entire universe. So you have infinity in your head, and a relationship is also a very complicated thing. And then you have the concept of God, even if you don't believe he really exists, being at least as infinitely complicated as a human brain, because it's everything you've ever experienced and everything that at least the people in the Bible have ever experienced and everything else you encounter in your own life. So, to answer a question, are you a Christian, you can't even scratch the surface on what that could possibly mean. But no, I'm a Christian. It's a subtle difference, but the word Christ is actually in the word. And that's what I'm getting to regarding the holidays. Easter is pagan. Easter also is marketed as a bunny and eggs. It's Resurrection Day. Like, no one who actually, like, practices and dives deep into and yearns for a relationship with God, like, isn't aware of what that day truly is. Like, there is the whole Passover week, the Palm Sunday before, is crucified, and then on the Sunday is resurrected. There's no Easter bunny as part of that. Christmas, I do believe you should acknowledge his birth, and you could pick any day out of the year. So the fact that people kind of just do around December, okay, that's beautiful. What does that have to do with Santa Claus? Like, no other holiday does Satan put that much effort to twist. You do the math. Like you learn about what Hanukkah is, it's like they don't hide it. It's the menorah because of the miracle that was performed of it lasting multiple nights, more than it should. Like that's not hidden. They don't put a Santa Claus over that. And again, I'm just speaking to my own ignorance my entire life because I hate that it was the case. It is weird and it feels gross, and that you're never going to enjoy going to church. Well, good news, which is what gospel means. You don't go to a building, you belong to a people. Ecclesia is the congregation. And if, again, you want to think about it metaphorically at first, and like that's often like what I come to. I have doubts so often, and it takes everything to like rebuild my faith when I don't have the time to go over like the historical evidence and such. Like it took a long time for me to become utterly convinced, and now it would take more faith for me to be an atheist, because it's not the case. Like it's not just implausible, it's utterly ridiculous, which is impossible to see while you're in it. But I think a simple way to imagine that, it's like you have a worldview. Again, I'm just like I'm speaking to my previous, like I'm speaking to my own experiences. I can't have any idea what anyone else is living through and could possibly imagine. But for me, there is very clearly your own thoughts and your senses and what you experience, you can visualize, you see in your mind's eye. And then there's a conscious that you can't change the mind of. Sometimes you can't, like sometimes you can shut it up and you can numb yourself and you can distract yourself, but at the end of the day, it's like you have something to do tomorrow. You're in bed and you already messed up, you already like drank or smoked or like did whatever, you did something that, I mean, more relatively isn't necessarily wrong, but something that is probably less optimal to what you should trust yourself to be able to do. Like you have a job the next day, you have school the next day or something, and you do something wrong, and as you're in bed and you're in a place that there's really no distracting from, like you're facing it, you're with yourself, on your car rides, on your, like whatever. I think in bed is probably the greatest, most commonly understood example, because like everyone has to sleep and usually you're completely by yourself. And when you are woken up with or can't sleep from your own consciousness, like that is God. There's no there'd be too much to go from there because I'm almost done. But the spirit of reason that you listen to, not what you come up with, like when you think and you have your train of thought and you put together the steps and you wander the theater of your consciousness and come across whatever your thoughts are, that's you. But when you're trying not to think of something and it comes back, it's its own thing. And yeah, I'll leave it there. Have a good one.